Hey everyone, welcome back in here to the channel. I am Cole Carmody. Appreciate you clicking on this video. Before we get going with the topic of today's video, which is the Kansas State women's basketball season in review, make sure you go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. At the time of this recording, we're at a little over more than 300. I want to get to 400 by the end of the week. Maybe by the end of the Sweet 16, Elite 8 will be around the 400 mark on the way to 1,000. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a little giveaway. We'll talk about more as we get close to that. But getting 1,000 subscribers is really important to me. So let's try and make that happen. You guys, the K-State community specifically, have been outstanding since I started this YouTube channel. I think I've only put out like 4 or 5 videos. But again, we're already over 300 subscribers and we're racking up those views. So keep watching, keep supporting me. Trust me, I really do appreciate it. Maybe we can have a live video at some point and get you guys involved with what I'm doing. Once again, my name is Cole Carmody. I cover Kansas State for 24/7 Sports. Sometimes that's a lot of fun. Today, however, at the time of this recording, maybe it's not so much fun. Kansas State drops to Colorado to end their season at home. They lose in the round of 32, and I have a lot of thoughts about this game. Typically, we don't cover women's basketball for GoPowerCat.com, and that's not necessarily because we just don't like it. It's more so the fact that people really have not been craving Kansas State women's basketball until this season. And why is that? Well, I think for a number of reasons, right? At other universities across the country, women's basketball is taking off. And before I get into this season, I just want to say I absolutely love the women's game. What Caitlin Clark at Iowa has done for this game has been nothing short of outstanding. But the quality of play in the NCAA at the Division I level for the women has improved dramatically. You could make an argument that women's basketball is more competitive this year than it has ever been. That's proof. Kansas State went on the road and beat Iowa, a national championship contender. They've had many losses for Iowa, and Kansas State many losses as well in close games with teams that didn't even make the postseason. The landscape of competition is amazing for the NCAA, and this tournament has been outstanding. And does it suck that K-State's out of it? It does. But I'm going to continue to watch this tournament because the quality of the product is amazing. And so before I get into K-State, I just wanted to say that because I really do appreciate the coverage that the women's team is getting, and we started to cover it more at Go Powercat. Me specifically, I've watched every single game at Kansas State. I've been following what Jeff Mitty's squad has been doing on the recruiting trail. It's been exciting, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit, but I just wanted to start off this video by saying how excited I am for the future of this game because it really is moving forward. Now, specifically as it pertains to Kansas State. This team got up to as high as number 2 in the country at one point this season. And you all know, if you're watching this video, you know what happened. Ioka Lee was injured. Kansas State struggled. She came back. They never really found it. They got a 4 seed. That's good. They got to host. The expectation was Kansas State would make it to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 20-plus years. And on Sunday, they were unable to do that. I don't think this season's a failure. And before I look ahead to next season, I want to wrap it up and put a bow on this season. Ioka Lee and Gabby Gregory, this is the first year and only year they were able to play together. Obviously, Yoki had the knee injury last year. Gabby averaged 20 points a game, all Big 12. High expectations for Gabby. She'll tell you she did not necessarily meet those this year. But when she needed to be good, she was really good. She was good today at the time of this recording on Sunday. She wasn't good enough, but she was good. Gabby Gregory has made an impact on this program that I think will go she is one of the more underappreciated Kansas State women's basketball players in a long time. I think that's the best way to say it. The future of this program is really bright. There are a lot of question marks surrounding this team. Does Ioka Lee come back? What does Jeff Mitty do in the transfer portal? Is Jeff Mitty even the right coach to lead this program? You know, when you get to that pinnacle and you get so close to achieving the ultimate goal like Kansas State was at one point this season, there can be question marks, and there should be question marks. But I'm not sure there needs to be. The way that Jeff Mitty and his staff are recruiting, they are able to bring in some players that they just haven't been able to get in the past. Zy Walker is a prime example. Now, she was a transfer portal target, but she was an in-state girl. Now, does it suck that Kansas State has missed out on some in-state studs like Emily Ryan at Iowa State, Addie Brown at Iowa State? Yeah, it sucks. But I think that the recruiting overall has had a major uptick. And that's why I'm so optimistic about the future of this program. When you haven't been to a Sweet 16 in 20 years, it's tough. It is hard to buck that trend of being a predominantly losing program to a predominantly winning program. And as much as people hate that, it takes time. Jeff Mittie, in and of itself, he recruited and developed Ioka Lee. For the people that want Jeff Mittie fired, I got news for you. He's not going anywhere. Was there a collapse down the stretch this year? Yeah, there was. But he's still the right guy for those jobs. Those girls love him. Those girls play hard. But more importantly, they love each other. They love each other. Gabby Gregory wanted to stay at K-State because she wanted to play with Ioka Lee. That's why, right? She came back because she loves her teammate. I'm not saying that this is going to be an easy offseason for Kansas State because there are major question marks. We should know what Yoki is going to plan on doing within the next week or so. If I were to sit here, gun to my head, what do I think she's going to do? I think she would return. I mean, I don't know how you could be at that atmosphere on Sunday, look around and say, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, who knows what her future holds in the WNBA? There's a real possibility she makes more in NIL at Kansas State her final year than she would her first year in the WNBA. And with the knee, there are major question marks as to what will she be like in the pros? Will she be as dominant? Will she be a starter? Will she be a role player? We just don't know that yet. But I do know that Ioka Lee loves Kansas State, and this team has a lot of potential heading into next season. And I know people don't want to hear that. But this season was a building block. You lose one player, and that's Gabby Gregory. Again, Gabby Gregory had a spot on this team. There's no doubt about it. She was a spark plug. She was the heartbeat of this team. But she maybe was not as big of a contributor as she was this season before. She was a great number one when Yoki was down, but she really wasn't as good of a number two. So the question becomes, where does Kansas State go from here? And so I'm going to frame the rest of this video like Ioka is coming back. And then I'll bring up the possibility that she doesn't momentarily. But I think what Kansas State needs if they want to get to that next level, if they want to be a national championship contender, if they want to win the Big 12, if they want to make the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four, there are some things that this team needs. They need to be able to shoot the ball better. They play elite defense. Elite defense. That's not going away anytime soon. Zy Walker could be one of the best defenders in the Big 12 next year. Serena Sundell, great defender. Terrence Sides, going to be better on the defensive end. But they need shooters. When Kansas State failed to score on Sunday, it was evident there was nobody that could just drain an open shot. Now, there wasn't very many open shots. And the women's game is different than the men's game. There's not as much, hey, you have the ball, you go get a bucket. Movement, cutting, passing, posting up. That's the kind of basketball that Jeff Mittie's Wildcats play. And so this team needs some shooters. Now, are they going to go target one of those in the transfer portal? I don't know. But if I'm Jeff Mittie, I'm looking around and I'm saying, I have a few open scholarships. I need a shooter in the transfer portal. Somebody who can come in immediately, maybe not even start, come in immediately and get you 1 to 2 threes per game, play good defense. I think that is priority number one. They need a shooter, somebody with experience, preferably maybe like a Gabby Gregory type who's a senior, who's going to be able to score the basketball, specifically on the shooting end. They just don't have those shooters. Unless Jalen Glenn takes that next step and Briley Glenn becomes more of a scoring threat, they need another scorer to go along with Gabby or to go along with Ioka Lee and Serena Sundell. Now, that also brings up Zy Walker, who I kept talking about. I think she has the potential to be an all Big 12 kind of player. She showed flashes in the middle of this season as a redshirt freshman that were absolutely dominant. Same thing with Eliza Maupin, another one of those bench players you expect to take a step forward. The question is, will they, with the way that Kansas State plays? I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think if Ioka Lee stays on this team and you continue to have the same offense, it is very winnable. Play defense, give her the ball, but you need some shooters. You need some more length, and you need some shooters. So I would say a shooting guard, some kind of a guard who can shoot the ball, even if it's a forward, even the Gisela Sanchez type of player who can efficiently shoot the ball. That is who I would target in the transfer portal. Another player I would go after would be a veteran guard, a true point guard, someone who is able to handle the ball. I would say don't worry about scoring. Get a point guard who is able, again, to come off the bench, a veteran who's going to be able to know their role and be able to facilitate. Because at times, Serena Sundell struggled with that. She is a great scorer. She can be a great matchup nightmare at the point guard position. But I think this team needs a true point guard, and that is something that was pretty evident in this game against Colorado. Now, should they have played Terrence Sides more? I think they should have. And that's another player who I expect to take a step forward. And maybe Jeff Mitty's staff feels comfortable with not going to get another point guard because of the development of Terrence Sides. I think that's very realistic. Terrence Sides will be taking over for Serena Sundell at some point at the point guard position. Maybe it's next year because Taryn is going to be really good. The Phillipsburg, Kansas native, again, showed flashes of being a leader. She was able to score the basketball. She's quick. I really like the future that Terrence Sides has. Overall, again, not a lot of holes on this Kansas State team. They're going to be able to go out and plug some gaps, but it is about the development of the players that are on your roster. And so if Kansas State doesn't get any better, then they're going to be a Sweet 16 round of 32 team. But if these players develop and they bring in another one or two pieces, you're looking at a team that can make a run at a national championship. I truly believe that. And yes, I believe Jeff Mitty is the right coach. He preaches love. These players love being with each other through the ups, through the downs. They're together. I think that's how you win, especially in a sport like women's basketball where chemistry is so important. If you believe that you can do it, then you can. And this experience of hosting is only going to help them. Does it suck that they lost? Yes, it does. And as Jeff Mitty said in his postgame, it sucks. And they're going to think about it for a long time. But this is the kind of hurt that this team can learn from, and they can be better off in the future because of this experience that they had. They're going to be in this same spot next year. So having had that experience, they're going to be able to take it with them and continue to get better. Now, if Ioka Lee doesn't return, there are serious question marks around this team. There's no doubt about it. They showed that they could play without her, but without her, they are a 8, 9, maybe 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. With her, they are a top 4, top 3, maybe even top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. If Ioka decides she wants to go and enter the transfer portal or go somewhere else or play professional basketball and not return to Kansas State, then you have to reevaluate, and you probably have major changes in this offseason. You change the way you play. You get some different personnel in, but that is going to be a bridge that Kansas State has to cross if it indeed does happen. Either way, yes, a very tough and disappointing end to the season. There's no doubt about it. They struggled down the stretch, but this Kansas State team revitalized basketball, revitalized women's basketball in this community, in this state. It got this fan base excited to go to women's games, to watch the women's games. There are little girls now who wear number 12 and we're number 50 for Gabby and Ioka, and even boys who watch Ioka Lee play and model their game after her. It was really cool to see. And it was cool to see the Kansas State community rally around this team because they are very, very great individuals. They're great people on and off the court. I'm excited to continue to cover this team. I'm excited to continue to watch this team, to root for this team. It's going to be a blast. The offseason is going to be a difficult one. But man, this team gave us some memories. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all of you for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I will have more on Kansas State. I will have more on the Royals. Opening day is on Thursday. So be sure you're following along. Continue to build that subscriber base up. We'll do some more cool things here on the channel. But nonetheless, Kansas State drops one to Colorado. Their season is officially over. Basketball season is over in Manhattan, Kansas. Hey, the Batcats rolling right now. We'll have a video on them later this week as well. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great week. Until then, I'll see you later.